one for the flames. Great! Evil shall turn to dust.
Hello ZZ Proxies, it's your boy Josh. And whether you think that the new boss Thrall is one of the worst deadly assault bosses in the game, or you might think that there are some amazing qualities to this boss, one thing's for certain. People are having a bit of trouble acclimating to this new stage. What Thrall brings are moments of sick boss gameplay coupled with somewhat questionable stages of fights and even more questionable restrictions, making this boss another one for the controversial pile. But we're not here to discuss whether or not he's defeatable, because he definitely is. Let's break down the fight to show you how to time your attack windows and really push for your 3-star clears, or for the vets, a higher DA score. And don't worry, we're also going to do a small revisit of the other two bosses in the Marionette Twins and Miasmic Fiend to update y'all on those bosses as well, because there actually is a new secret tech being passed around the community that might just improve your times by tens of seconds. So let's drop into the first new Deadly Assault boss, the Thrall. Boasting a massive 160 plus million HP, this boss is no joke. Well, talking about jokes, the first 8 to 10 seconds or so, you're literally just standing around, dodging a few pellets of attacks to a first big defensive assist. Take this opportunity to set up your supports, and funny enough, the big red circle can even be parryable or dodgeable by most units, so if you're planning on taking units like Monato, Yitari, or even some other notables like Evelyn or the next Rupture character on the block, Banye, you can make use of this red attack by parrying or dodging into the first big defensive assist of the fight. For Jshoea in particular, who's very stingy about her energy usage, even just a dodge or two will add a few tens of decibels that can add up to your first stun. One of the biggest things I like to remind and advise new and upcoming players is that the setup to the bosses is arguably the second, if not the most important part of the fight, as it allows you to make sure you have the right amount of resources going into your first stun and then the rest of the fight. So after this, the Thrall will attack with a few slashes, nothing too crazy. Make use of the assists, but also understand that if you're bringing a stunner to this fight, you're going to be getting into the stun window relatively quickly. It is quite deceptive, and even some high-end Hugo players can reach 2 stun windows on this boss. That's how fast you can stun this thing. Make sure to have all your buffs and bonuses in tow before heading into your first damage window to get as sizable of a score as your team can produce. After this, the Thrall will go into its transition phase, where you now just have the Croc with no stun meter. Yeah, this section will not be stunnable and cannot accumulate anomaly buildup. So if you're bringing a disorder comp, you better have them as hyper carries like a premium hyper carry Miyabi team. Hey Proxies, welcome to day 3 of Gotchamas. What is Gotchamas, you may ask? Well, it's our new annual tradition of making 12 videos before Christmas for the 12 days of Christmas. But all you need to know is that if this video has this little clip in it, this means you can like the video right now and you can gift 5 cents to our charity of choice. This year's being UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, and specifically their holiday campaign to help bring resources that kids need during some of the coldest times of the year. And make sure to join our streams over at twitch.tv/Jshoea, as weekly we will be hosting charity collab events that you and others can participate in to help donate to this great cause. That's all folks, and on with the video. Regardless, most folks like yourselves have found out that just tossing literally every single ability you have at the Croc will generally whittle him down to at least 50, if not the whole 100%. This phase in particular incentivizes pure raw DPS, which characters like Jshoea, who can excel at all stages, will be a superstar for. Other characters that generally rely on the stun window for damage, like a Hugo Flad, might be spending a few extra seconds on this section of the fight, but never fear, as the Sobek will occasionally attack with yellow attacks, which can be assistable. Use this opportunity to get some extra decibels for your DPS character, not the stunners or supports, to rush through this portion of the fight. And before we head into the next stage of this fight, which is the miasma window, I do want to give my 2 cents on this section of the boss. Personally, I don't think it's necessary or really adds much to the fight, with the exception of limiting the range and agency of the player to that of a certain playstyle or team. I think that having certain stages with limiting DPS is fine, yet the section generally is only there to slow players down and barely gives any incentive outside of you getting to move on to the next stage or portion of the fight, which we'll get to now. The miasma phase is actually pretty cinematic. One thing that I love about the Defilers, Fiends, and now Thralls is the parryable animation portion of their gimmick phase. They are super cinematic, and it just feels good to hear the clanking of your weapons against their attacks. But let's break down these attacks. The first hit will be a 3 to 4 assist window. Then the Thrall will jump into the air. Do not waste this time by staring at him, even though he does look pretty cool. Swap to your other supporting cast if needed to help set up extra buffs, like I do here with Dylan to grant me an extra 10 seconds on the core buff. And position your characters for the stunner or other teammates who need more decibels to be the first to defensive assist. Then after the first attack, which has a 3 to 4 assist window, the next one will be a larger 6 assist window. Be patient on these attacks. Take a deep breath and just watch the yellow. These attacks are slower than the Miasma Priest, so you can much easier follow them. After that, the Thrall will jump up once again into a grand slam attack. Take this last window to set up other parries, gain resources, and set up more buffs and assists if needed, as you'll be gifted one large heavy assist. And boom, you should be around 80+% of a stun window, going if not closing in on 100%. Then from there is your pre-stun setup into the stun window, and then to the rest of the fight you go. After this, you will encounter the Thrall and continue to wail on him like you did in the very first phase of the fight. Yet what comes after your third stun window is a bit more frustration. After the 40 to 30 second mark of this fight, but mainly after your third stun, the Thrall will summon Sobek again and go into your no anomaly or stun zone. This forcing you to essentially rely on the last of your brute strength to deal a few extra hundreds or maybe thousands of points of damage. This portion of the fight again is super unnecessary. Yep, for the more advanced, you'll actually reach this phase around the 30+ second mark. If you are running a higher investment team or a faster team, you can actually rush the Sobek and get one last crack at a 4th stun window. Currently, this is only achievable with premium stunner teams. That includes Yishen, Yidharis, potentially Banyas, paired all with Dial-In. But for Banya, I haven't really tested him out just quite yet, so you guys are gonna have to wait till my early access guide to Banya for more information. And other high vertically invested teams like Evelyn, Hugo Vlad M2+, or potentially Sambi will do you quite well. Again, I only mention this because if you are a higher performing player, you're probably going to want to aim for that 4th stun window. So if you do notice your first stun window is not hitting at around the first 20 seconds of the fight, which is tight but attainable, then just reset the fight and go again. You should get out of the miasma phase before 1 minute 30 in order to have the theoretical time for the last stun window. But if you do have an insane amount of damage and a few extra mindscapes in your DPS, try just slowing down and dealing as much consistent maximum damage during a 3 stun window rotation, like so. Yet for those who are a little bit more budget, Josh, if I'm going to be missing that whole other stun window and my DPSs aren't doing that great, is this boss impossible? Well, my F2P friendos, not to worry, since it's been well documented that teams of Monato, Korin, and yes, even Nakamatas, Billies, and Soldier 11s have seen successful 3-star runs in this fight, but don't expect as high of a number as compared to that of the premium Rupture teams. As mentioned before, there are so many little attacks and stances that this boss has that are very pro-Rupture, or at least give way to the benefits that their kits provide. Yet, it's not like a great Eve or Sambi team can't clear. Just temper your expectations if you're not in the 1% of performance. And that's the Thrall fight in a nutshell. And I reserve a small section of this video here to also mention to you some other parts of the current DA, namely the Mirnet twins and the Fiend. Well, with the Fiend, we get a sizable HP upgrade, so most folks without Mindscapes are going to find their scores just ever so lower. But that doesn't mean the same teams generally can't clear. Your Alice, Piper, or Jane Doe teams will still dominate. Vivian or even Yanagi and Bernice providing sub-anomaly setups for disorders will help you immensely. And if you're daring, you can still use Yishen on this fight. Yes, I know Yishen can show up anywhere there is a miasma fight, and funny enough, she does have a newly popularized Ether and Orc Ink disorder comp with Vivian that's been making its rounds. And lastly, I saved the coolest new discovery of this whole DA rotation to the end of the video, and that has us sliding over to the good old twins. These two are actually nothing new, but there is a transferable tech that has finally floated around since the certain character that performs this tech is part of one of the premium squads for this fight. And if you know anything about ZZZ, is that if there is an ice weakness, you're gonna find Miyabi stands floating around like sharks ready to pounce. So we're bringing in the new age mono ice team that has Miyabi, Yuzuha, and Sukaku. And the tech here is that you can actually cancel out the Dancing Twin stage that happens after your stun windows. See, this portion of the fight was to promote the general gimmick of breaking down the clone copies. Yet, for the most part, with Miyabi, you don't even have to aim to deal enough damage within the AoE for these clones. So this portion of the fight, some could say, is a slight waste of time and only used for building up your performance points. Yet sitting around for 10 seconds seeing clones being thrown at you is a bit silly. So we're bringing the character with the best parry in the game, Jshoea, to actually negate this whole phase entirely. This tech was inspired by a Billy user. Go figure, they're always finding cool ways to game fights. But yes, once your stun window is wrapped up, head to the center stage, and as soon as the boss teleports, basic hold into the manual parry with Jshoea, and boom, magic. You can then immediately flow into Sukaku to freeze and continue on building up to your next stun window. It's pretty consistent and convenient if you plan properly. So practice it once or twice to get the rhythm and feel down, because the first clone can fly out fast. And to wrap up, here are your suggested teams for the twins fight here. And for those who are more conventional mono ice users, yes, this team has been documented to get 60k plus, so no need to force Jshoea here. And folks, that'll wrap up your Deadly Assault guide for December. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of Thrall in the near future, so make sure to revisit this guide if you need any help with your rotations. Make sure to go check out the Tiltify link down below if you guys would like to donate this holiday season, and make sure to like this video because just by liking you can gift 5 cents to charity. Thanks so much for watching. It's your boy Josh, and we'll see you in the next one.